Hi. I wanted to do a lot of different things because I have a lot of different thoughts during this time when we are all sheltering in place. I wanted to clean my room. I wanted to have a sunny day. I wanted
to go iRacing.
There's a lot of different things. And I don't really have the energy or stamina to do a lot of what my mind wants to do right now, which isn't necessarily unusual. Having a chronic illness, I often can't do what my mind wants to do. But I did want to do a video. One of the things that people talk about now is that we are sheltering in place, and in some cases away from people that we normally would interact with, but more so we are very together with people that we usually don't spend as much time with. For my husband and I, we've done the 24/7 thing for 8 years. He's always by my side because of my chronic illness. We are never apart, so it's not particularly unusual for us to spend this amount of time together. However,
yeah, we planned for this for years.
We have been working on this for years. However, the pandemic puts a lot of stress on everybody, and we are certainly under more stress than usual. So we have to be on our game even more so, and it's always hard work. So I thought maybe we'd talk about some of the things that we do in order not to spend our days in a bitchy talk fest. When you have to spend a whole lot of time with someone, it can get, difficult because you might not be registering that you're even feeling stress, and it might just seem that your partner is being particularly annoying. We focus a lot on recognizing when we're off center. And that's my word and my vocabulary and my training, because I consider being on center when I'm very present, when I'm very focused on this moment and not off in my head in the what if scenarios. I consider it, a very Zen term. And so it's part of my vocabulary and my practice to say we're on center or we're off center. You come from a different background and a different vocabulary than I do, and you might refer to being off center as annoyed, frustrated,
just plain had enough.
Up to here. So, he gets annoyed. But recognizing that when it starts to rise can be really helpful, as opposed to after the fact when I've already cursed and slammed a door on the way out, because by that time then we've lost our cool and it takes us longer to get back together. So for me, I have to recognize what are my signs that I'm starting to move off center and I'm losing my perspective. Having dysautonomia, one of the things that frequently happen is, of course, my pulse is much higher when I'm standing up. So I might be in the kitchen, I might be cooking, and I'm already at that orthostatic anger kind of place because that's natural for my body. But one of the other things is, because my husband's pulse is naturally like 50.
45, 50.
He moves at a whole different pace than I do. So if I ask him a question...
A minute to me is like an hour to you.
It's absolutely true. So I might ask him something, and it feels like it's taking too long to answer, because I'm operating at this super fast place. My thoughts are moving too fast because I'm off center, and I'm not really judging time and space really well. So that's one of the ways that I know I'm off center. If I find his response is too slow, if my thoughts are going super fast, that's one of the ways that I know that I'm not at my optimum place of peace and wellness. What do you notice?
One of mine is a chest burning.
What do you mean?
A burning sensation in your chest.
like up in here.
Yeah. Just feels like there's a fire right there.
So
Starts out warm.
yeah.
Then it turns into like this blaze.
So it's a real physical body sensation.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And I guess I have physical body sensations too. I'm usually in pain because that's also part of my dysautonomia package. But sometimes my shoulders and my wings in the back are more pain than I realize. So one of the things I have to do is kind of exhale and move my shoulders and see and go, oh gosh, my pain threshold is like really, really high right now. And I'm in a lot more pain than I'm realizing. And that's one of the ways that I know my processing of information at that time might be off center because the pain has moved me to be off center. And you certainly have times when...
Are you sure I can't get an iRacing race in real quick?
We're almost...
Don't have time.
We're almost done.
Okay, just checking.
You also have pain though too that you manage.
Oh yeah.
And how does that affect you being aggravated or annoyed? And then, you know, when I ask you something like, maybe we could spend some time cleaning the room today, how do you hear that? I mean, if I just say, babe, I think we need to spend some time cleaning the room.
I am in so much pain, and when you say, babe, we need to spend some time cleaning the room, I am in so much pain. If you knew that, you wouldn't even ask me. And that's all you know. If you knew that, you wouldn't even ask me. Why would you even ask me?
It's true. And I don't know, because you haven't, you know, responded to me about the level of pain that you're in that day. Sometimes I think when I ask you that, you also come back with just this look in your eye that's like, do I not do enough? Are you saying that I haven't done enough? Do you not know that all I do? Are you saying I'm absolutely worthless? And I don't ever see where that's coming from, because I thought I just asked a benign question. But sometimes you translate it differently.
When you got a serious pain going on, a lot of things get translated differently.
We have a Zen and redneck translation table that sometimes sounds just really, really super different.
Oh yeah, redneck don't translate to Zen, and Zen don't translate to redneck sometimes.
But we work on it.
Redneck and Zen are two different things, totally.
So, for us, we have physical cues when we might be off center. I might have an intense pain in my shoulders. Michael says he has that.
Are we getting to the part where you think that you wear cowboy boots and...
Where I think I'm country?
Yeah. You know, like Gwen and Blake.
I'm a little bit country.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a little bit redneck.
Okay.
I'm not at all. I have no concept or understanding, but I try really hard to understand him, because we have to make that work, because we're together 24/7. We have to catch things early on.
We don't have to make it work. We do make it work.
We do make it work. And sometimes it doesn't work very well. And sometimes we get really angry.
And sometimes when it don't work very well, it's still fine.
It's true. It's not a deal breaker. We've been together 8 years. We've been 24/7 for 8 years. And we know that we have to let some stuff go. And we know that sometimes it gets really super hard for both of us. So we try to have some patience and grace on both ends.
Yeah, so we need to let this go so I can iRace.
What are some of the things, so like, okay, let's say now in a scenario that we are off center, either I'm off center or you're off center, and it's actually never a problem when one of us is off center. It's only a problem when both of us are at the same time.
Oh yeah, then it's like two bulls going together.
Did you just call me? So what are some of the things that we do that help us when we're both off center? What are things that work for us?
Have we figured that out yet?
I know for you, if I scratch your back,
yeah.
Okay, that's one of the things that kind of settles you and kind of reminds you of who I am. And I know that if I ask you, you know, hey, can I scratch your back? And you kind of pull away and go, why? No, fine. You know, and if you won't come in for a hug, then I know that you might.
I don't feel like a hug right now.
You might be off center. If you forget who I am in the moment, you may be off center. What works? What reaches you? If I can't reach you with a back scratch, what reaches you?
A smile.
Smiling?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to remember that then.
A laugh is a laugh.
A cute little smile and scratching your back.
Yeah, what works for you?
I like holding hands.
Do you?
I do. And we can do that because we're social distancing together.
This is the first I've heard this.
That I like holding hands? Yeah. I like holding hands. I like holding hands.
I've never heard this before.
And looking in eyes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like looking in your eyes, even when I'm looking in reflective glasses. I like playing a game of cribbage.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good. Sometimes not talking helps.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I need to, you know, catch my breath, take a moment, walk away.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's important that we come back and not let it go on for hours, because then I don't feel well physically, and it takes a physical drain on you and your body too. So there's some impetus to try to come back to center when one of us is off, or both, because we don't have the reserves, either of us, for our health to be able to continue on. So I think, in summary, what's helpful for us in our individual practice is to know what the body signs are when we're off center. And you said for you, it's a burning sensation in your chest.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's that pain in my shoulders. There are also cognitive cues. For me, it's when my thoughts are going super, super fast, or I'm having that orthostatic anger kind of moment. And for you, it's when you hear the redneck to Zen translation tables saying that I'm saying awful things to you, or not respecting you in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And then things that help us find our center again are holding each other, even silently or quietly, smiling.
One thing that might work is just holding your partner and not looking or talking. Just thinking. You could be facing two different directions.
But that physical touch is important.
Yeah. And sometimes your little lug nut can help.
She certainly knows when one of us is off center, because that's the person she goes to.
And pesters.
Go fix this. Make this better. I'm uncomfortable. Doesn't feel good.
I am not dealing with this.
Make it better. Make it better.
She says, make me go to sleep. She said I was asleep.
Anyway, we just wanted to kind of put it out there that we're all going through a really hard time right now. And
yes.
And our loved ones are going through a hard time right now. And that makes it super hard.
It's a hard time for everyone. They just need to find things to help them do it. Anything. Like a little dog.
Like a smile.
A smile. a big dog.
Hey, Bo, come here. We all got to take comfort where we find it and try to be gentle and patient with each other. And I'm so grateful to my support system who helps reminds me to let things go and to give it time.
She's not practicing social distancing.
Thank goodness for dogs. All right. Thank you very much.
She's Grandma. She's Grandma. Get Grandma. Grandma, Bo's up here, Grandma. Now she's coming to you.
Yes.